Well, the signing and the entering into force of USMCA really signals a new stage, a new era on the economic integration of the North American region. And at the same time, open opportunities that were not there before in areas like digital commerce, like financial services, fintech, and including areas of social dimension as labor laws, respect for the environment, gender issues, and indigenous populations issues. So we really look forward to take advantage in the three countries, US, Mexico, and Canada, of the opportunities that USMCA offers, acknowledging that we are entering an era in which the trade agreements have to include social dimensions. So we need to work hard with the different actors of US economy and US society to really implement this treaty, go forward, and bring better jobs for workers in the three countries.
There are challenges that lie ahead, however, both for governments and business. Can you talk briefly about that?
Yes, indeed there are challenges. Since this agreement has new aspects that were not included in previous agreements or in other free trade agreements, we now have to implement these changes. I think the main challenges that we have now is the implementation of the labor aspects of the agreement, on the environmental aspects of the agreement, and the elements that will affect the automotive sector. As you know, the automotive sector in North America is highly integrated and is looking to the future, to what would be the new ways of building cars, which kind of cars we will need in the future, electric cars, self-driving cars. So now with the USMCA, the rules of origin have changed from 62.5 content to 75%, and also guaranteeing that of that 75%, 40% has to come from areas or factories that pay $16 an hour. So we need to work very fast and very coordinated so that we can have the most competitive automotive sector in the world.
You mentioned in the meeting that here in Massachusetts you're looking to perhaps tap into the ecosystem, the technology ecosystem here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain
Yes.
a little bit more specifically about what you're looking for?
Well, yes. First, Mexico acknowledges that Boston is one of the most vibrant ecosystem on high technology, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, medical devices, research in different areas. Unfortunately, we have many Mexicans already working here, both as researchers, as professors, and a lot of students that are doing their PhDs. And we are very willing to work together more closely into seeing more startups in Mexico doing the kind of research that is being done in Boston, but not exactly with the aim of competing, but with the aim of complementing what we are doing, and also with the aim of giving more opportunities to the people in Mexico of remote areas or with less resources. So it's something that we need to learn a lot from Boston, and that fortunately we have these Mexicans already working here in Boston that can be the bridge between the US and Mexico in this area.
What should Massachusetts business people know about the economy in Mexico? Where does it stand and where are you going?
I think the Massachusetts people should know that Mexico is now the first trading partner of the US, which is very few people know. That the level of trade that Mexico and the US have, it's immense, it's almost reaching $600 billion a year. That the trade of Mexico with Massachusetts is $5.9 billion a year. And that we need to even increase that trade and to complement each other. And second, that the Mexican economy is quite a sophisticated economy. It's not an economy that exports only tequila or avocados, which, by the way, are great exports of Mexico to the US, but we export a lot of manufacturing. One of our main areas of exports to Massachusetts is medical devices, medical instruments. So of all the Latin American economies, the most sophisticated one and the most integrated to the global value chains is the Mexican economy. Even though the Brazilian economy is bigger, it's not as integrated in the global markets as the Mexican is. So that is something that offers great opportunities for the US. We have a very capable workforce. We are graduating more than 100,000 engineers every year. And basically, we know how to work with the US, and the US knows how to work with Mexico.
The kind of persistent shortage of qualified people that many business people in Massachusetts face is tied a bit to immigration policy. Can you talk a little bit about how the two are tied together?
Well, I think that the US economy is working basically on full employment. And there is a need of workers, not only in the highly qualified area, but also in the agricultural area and the dairy industry. And I think there is a complementarity of the labor markets between Mexico and the US. But until the US doesn't go ahead with a comprehensive immigration reform, there will not be the legal channels to have this complementarity of labor markets. So to have a circular migration that it's at the same time a legal migration, so that Mexican workers can come and work for some years or some months in the US and then return back to Mexico, and that we can take advantage of the opportunities that labor markets both in the US and Mexico offer.
Talk a little bit about the cultural influence that Mexico is having on the United States and will have going forward.
I think that's an area in which I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of the presence of the Mexican community in the US and their contribution to the US society and the US economy. And the contribution to the society is immense. Now, the US, more and more people are speaking Spanish, so we have a bilingual country. Also, more and more people in Mexico are speaking English. And then the presence of Mexico is there all the time. In the cuisine of the US, in the food scene of the US, you cannot explain a lot of contemporary US restaurants without the influence of Mexico and Mexican products. But also you have that influence in TV, in soap operas, you have that influence in music, even from former singers as Selena, and then you go to the film industry. Now the Mexican film directors in Hollywood have been so successful that they have won the Oscar for the best film director in the latest years. You have writers as Valeria Luiselli winning accolades for her novel, The Lost Children Archive. We have musicians playing in orchestras. We have dancers like one of the Hernandez brothers dancing with the San Francisco Ballet. And the more and more we dig in, we find more Mexicans being an important part of the great US culture.
Final question. You talked at the end about Mexico and the United States being part of each other's past, present, and future. Can you articulate that?
Yes. In 2021, we are going to commemorate 500 years of the fall of Tenochtitlan, the great capital of the Aztecs. And we are going to celebrate 200 years of the end of our fight for independence, 1821. What very few Americans remember is that when Mexico became independent and changed its name from the new Spain to Mexico, the territory of Mexico ran from Oregon to what today is Panama. And it included the states of Texas, California, New Mexico, Arizona, part of Utah, part of Nevada, and part of Colorado. So when Mexico became independent, these states became also independent as part of Mexico. And that is part of the history of the US. And the names of many cities in the US have these Spanish names that were part of the Viceroy of the New Spain and then Mexico: Los Angeles, San Jose, San Francisco, San Antonio. And we have that past that sometimes have been painful, but that we are looking now for the future. And we have this present of interaction, of friendship, and of alliance. So we need to work for the future, acknowledging what we have shared in the past, what we have now in the present, and a future that is full of opportunities. And as I said jokingly, but I repeat, we are a marriage that we can't divorce, so we better get along well.